Mr. Jon Najarian, Dr. J, and of course, I'm sure most of you folks know Dr. J. He's the co-founder of optionMONSTER.com. He's always on CNBC. And coming, folks, if you go to eSignal.com, what you're going to see is that on November 15th, from 9 to 1, this coming Saturday, they're having Back in Black, okay? It's a multi-speaker free webinar that you're going to basically learn about insight, indications, interaction, and where is your next trade coming from. Bottom line is that I expect it's going to be an outstanding webinar. And Mr. Dr. J is leading it off. Jon, what's going on?
Great to be back with you, Tommy. God, it's been too long, my friend.
It's a trip, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
And folks, okay, just to go for a blast from the past, I think it's probably around 20 years ago that you actually did a program on this network.
Yeah, and I used to come up and see you just outside of Boston occasionally.
I know, man. I'll tell you.
Way back in the day.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it. So this, well, first off, okay, it's great. I appreciate you coming on. Tell us, Jon, what you're going to teach this coming Saturday on Back to Black on the eSignal platform.
Well, we're going to look at the rally that has been so fierce off of that 1820 handle in the S&P, Tom, where the S&P got down to 1820 on either the 15th or 16th of October.
Yes.
And how dramatic it bounced back and more or less set people up for what I think will be a good trading environment in 2015, and some of the same trades that we were talking about in the middle of October, we still like going into the end of the year. So we're going to try to lay out a game plan for a number of trades that people could take advantage of no matter who they're trading through, even if they don't trade options. But in particular, of course, if some of those folks trade options, a lot of what I'll be talking about will cover the sorts of trades that they can take advantage of this gyration we've seen in volatility the last few weeks.
Jon, you have a great, resume in the option business and the trading business in general. Did you ever think, and I remember specifically, folks, okay, when you go back quite a few years ago, bottom line, options were new, believe it or not. Now, I mean, options seem to have overtaken the whole market, Jon.
Yeah, well, and I think some of it is some people's fear, Tom, of things like high-frequency trading. They feel they're being gamed by the system, and I think you can still make money even in a high-frequency world, but obviously options aren't nearly as impacted by that because it's a derivative of that underlying stock. So the fact that somebody might be playing games, scalping a penny here and there in fractions of a second, that's not really hurting you or me as an options trader, and I think there's a lot of opportunities that get created by some of those disconnects when people start turning the machines off, which clearly happens almost on a daily basis, Tom. You see it more than I do in the futures markets where, you just see gold hit a wall and all of a sudden just drop, $30, $40, or just stop, the selling just dries up in crude oil or gold, and it just runs the opposite way, and there's nobody there to sell to them. I mean, those are the fun times to trade.
And folks, what Jon's talking about, it's crucial to understand. It's when either the bids get pulled or the offers get pulled. And if you go look at the journal today, what you will find in that bond market on the 15th, that's exactly what happened. And that's important in the context because if you are in the option market, well, guess what? It's not going to affect you because it's a short-term phenomena that happens when too many orders do come in at once. Jon, the penny-wide move, talk to me about the differences that you've seen in options in the last 10 to 20 years. Weekly's penny-wide move. I mean, because I remember you specifically were always preaching that, hey, listen, this is the way to do a defined trade. But it's pretty incredible that it actually not only come to fruition what you were talking about, it actually even, like, penny wide. Who would ever think you could trade a $100 stock in a penny wide deal right out the queues?
Exactly. I honestly think, Tom, and you and I trade, I believe, the same way as far as neither one of us folks are guys that are down on the floor anymore. I'm trading from upstairs, off the floor, pointing and clicking the same way every single listener on this program is trading.
Yes.
And the same way, by the way, that a lot of hedge funds trade these days. A lot of those guys aren't picking up the phone and calling a trading desk either. unless they're Carl Icahn or, Ackman or somebody like that.
Yes.
For the most part, they're getting the orders in, and they're pointing and clicking and laying in bids and offers beneath the market or above the market and trading that way. It's the best time ever to be a trader.
And folks, if you come over to our website at TFNN, well, better yet, you can just go to eSignal.com. So as you go to eSignal, folks, what you want to do is this. You hit the home page, then hit Education and Events. What you're going to see when that is up, you're going to see Back in Black, okay? There's going to be a special presentation coming this Saturday morning. It's going to go from 9 to 1 Eastern Standard Time. Jon is going to be the first speaker up. He's going to be talking about the post-election trading strategies. And as Jon was just saying, there's no doubt, number one, going down into October 15th, fast and furious, and then coming out of that just as fast. I'll tell you, I was looking, Jon, this morning, and this move, there's no doubt, you talk about fast and furious coming out of it. You don't see a lot of moves come back that quick after a downdraft. So it's going to be intriguing to see what happens the next 60 days coming into this close of the year. Yeah, it will. And I think, I don't want to stack too much on the election and say that that's the all clear. Stocks are just going higher. We'll see more of what we've seen, of course, and hopefully a little more of what we hoped for from the Congress and the President. But I think the issue is, Tom, that we're going to have lower for longer rates. That's going to keep equities very attractive. It may keep a floor, or it may keep some of that pressure on both gold and crude oil. We'll have to see. But certainly the strong dollar has been not a big friend of either the crude oil contract or the gold contract of late. No doubt. And I think we're going to see more and more trading that benefits from lower energy prices. That'd be manufacturers, that'll be chemical companies, that'll be the consumers spending at retailers. And that strong dollar, it's just a boon to the retailers because virtually everything they sell us, Tom, is made over in Pakistan, Poland, Vietnam, China, whatever. Strong dollar means that those retailers are selling stuff and making a larger profit on it because of the strong dollar. Yeah, and there's no doubt the gasoline itself. I think most folks are probably saving almost 30% from one fill up, and that's going to come into the economy, and that's fast and furious, right? Yep, that's one of the reasons you want to be, like I say, betting on the consumer in early 2015, if not already right now, is because I'm not saying that just because the consumer has another $10 or $7 per fill-up in their pocket that they have to spend every single bit of that. But we all know they'll either pay down a little debt, unlikely, or they'll spend it. And I believe most of that will get spent. And, again, that's 70% of the economy, Tom, so I don't want to bet against that. I want to ride that wave. No doubt. Listen, folks, you can sign up at eSignal.com. You just go to Products and Education and Events. It's Back in Black. And, of course, you want to find Jon, his brother Pete. Great site. It's optionMONSTER.com, and they just come out with a new book. And in fact, on the book aspect of it, folks, okay, I see you, I see you guys every morning right in my living room, Jon. I'm sure you say the same. You utter the same phrases that so many of my other friends do too, Tom. And ask me, when are we going to come up with a new commercial? No, listen, I think it's a beautiful thing, man. I don't mind you right in my living room. I like it, man. I like it. Well, thank you. Hey, listen. We're going to be doing another book and an electronic version as well. Okay. And I think those, to have folks that can pick up a few insights on how to use an option without blowing themselves up, that's something you and I would both always be in favor of. And I don't care if that book's written by Tom, folks, or if it's written by me or, any other option pundit. As long as it's accurate, I think it's a good thing for people to get that knowledge in their hands and be able to, trade futures and options the right way. There's no doubt. And that's, folks, all about strategies. It's not about putting on red or putting it on black. And, Jon is very good at that because understanding strategies, folks, okay? And he's one of the first guys that taught me this. Bottom line, you can be wrong in the market, and guess what? You might not lose money. You might break even. You might lose a little less, okay? And now it's got even better because of the fact that you're talking penny wide right across large markets. Let's put it that way. Listen, John, thank you so much, man. We really appreciate you growling and prowling with us. And, of course, we look forward to the webinar this coming Saturday.
I look forward to it, too. Thank you very much, Tommy. We got to have a drink sometime soon.
We're going to do it, brother. Okay,
Thank
man.
you, sir.
Have a great one. Have a safe one.